Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Are We Live pre-show.
Yeah.
Oh, finally the music kicks in. That's nice.
Does it sound? It sounds like it's slowed down to me a little. Is that just me?
No, it does. You're 100% right. It does feel like it's like, don't know what's happening. Good thing we, good thing we
We'll
have
just
two
move
minutes
in
and
slow motion to the music.
we got 2 minutes and 40
Hey,
seconds to figure it
CK.
out.
I see CK's joined us. Hello, hello. Good to have you.
Hey,
So
CK.
you know what I just did before we hopped on this live?
Um, you fought a little kid for a balloon.
Close.
Hmm.
So I got a summons for jury duty 2 days ago, and I had to fill out a pre-checklist, like go online and fill out all this stuff. And I was like, "Are we even doing this right now? I mean, it's COVID." Anyway, I do get that stuff still has to happen. Law has to keep going, but man, I'm curious to see what will actually happen. And I know that a lot of people get summoned and never actually serve on a jury, but that's what I was doing right before this call, so it's really got me amped up for today's live stream.
You are so ready to talk marketing. You're just so focused.
Yeah.
When you told me you had a jury summons, I literally thought, oh, that's still happening? I didn't know. I literally thought, that's not a thing right now.
Yeah. That's the
Wow.
thing. Although I think there are some areas that have been doing like Zoom stuff. I don't know if that's the case. I got a notice saying that, they physically distance everyone and they clean everything, and who knows? I just go with the flow, see what happens, and try not to overthink it.
I know nothing about the legal system in Canada. Do you
I
guys
don't
have,
know much
is it,
more than you.
do you guys have 12 juries? Or 12 jurors? Probably one jury. 12
So
jurors.
I had to watch a video, and there was at one point where it said six, but I don't actually know if that was specific to a certain type of case. They did talk about the criminal versus civil, and but I don't know. I'll find out. Maybe I should have paid closer attention to the. I can rewatch it.
Sure. They give you like a free rental. That's
No.
exciting. Sorry, right now I'm posting about this live show. Marketing, baby. I'm letting people know it's live. Right
Yeah,
now,
good
click
point.
this link.
And if you are joining us now and you haven't said hello, please say hello. Oh, hi, Andy. I was reading your name, Dawson, and then started to say Andy and said Dandy. So apologies for that. Good evening.
Good evening, Dandy. Good to see you. To the credits. Well, well, well. How you doing, Andy? Thanks for stopping in.
Okay, I see Paul. Paul coming in here from Love
Hey,
Audio
love audio.
Production. Welcome.
CK, good to see you guys.
Back so soon.
CK,
Um,
I mean, if you're already sequestered at home, just zoom into the trial, share your skills to the judge, court. Oh, Kat, you could 100% make those. You could make the courts really pop. Really excited.
I could.
Really exciting stuff.
Just add a little bit of streaming software to those Zoom calls and just some graphics. Yeah,
Mhm.
hey.
I could do some improv warm-ups with the jurors. I'm like, come on, get lively. You got to bring the energy in this jury box.
Now, for those who came a little bit later, joined us just now, we are joking about jury duty because I was summoned for jury duty for next month. I have no idea if it's going to happen, if it'll be in person or on Zoom, so we don't know. But it was a really fun start to my 2021. Yeah, not the mail I was looking for. Okay, enough about that,
Mhm.
what are we talking about today, Paul? Do you want to set us up here?
Yeah, for sure. So, hey everybody, welcome to Are We Live Now? This is where we talk about us being live streamers. Are we perfect? Heck no. That's why we hang out here. And we talk, this is kind of like an online journal. This is kind of like where you and I both share, like, this works, this didn't. Dear Diary, today I tried this with streaming. So we talk about what works, what doesn't work, and we bring in guests who talk about their experience. But today we thought, let's talk about marketing. And I know, full candor, for full transparency, we realize that we're like, wait a second, we have like 6 people watching live at a time. If we get 10, we're like, whoa, look at us.
Yeah.
So this is all to say that we are still learning how to market. We're still learning how to grow. Some things work, some things don't. I think some things we need to remind ourselves and remind you. And yeah, so this is a very open conversation. And this is the longest intro ever, Kat. I apologize. I just keep talking and never stop.
It's all good.
In the chat, if you have things that work, if we're talking about a topic and you're like, oh, 100%, that's really helpful, or I find this helpful, like, let us know. This is just a cool opportunity for us to hang out and share. So there you go.
Yes.
CK, you have a gym? What? Lucky.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard you mention a gym before, CK. I mean, but gyms come in all different shapes and sizes, and I know she's sequestered, so it's obviously a home gym. Let us know what's in your home gym. Yeah, with marketing, I think it's always a good conversation, and it is a good conversation for new streamers because that's always one of those things, like, how do I get people to show up? And so it is top of mind. And as one of our community members, Matt Haas, said, I think we were recapping the year, and I said that the tech is just 10% and then 90% is getting you showing up and all of that stuff. And then he said, no, 80% marketing. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it is a really good reminder that you can be the best live streamer in the world. You can have the most engaging personality. You can have the tech, but if you don't tell anyone about it. And yes, as Paul, as you mentioned, we are both learning, and this is an uphill climb for the marketing.
I think it's a mix too. You can be, if you are the best, if you're really, really good, I think give enough time, if you took that graph out to infinity, you would grow. But marketing helps speed the process up. So, so I think definitely work on your own personal skills, but marketing is definitely something helpful if you're where to kind of get the word out there. So, yeah.
Well, and so I guess we have a question from Andy. Does marketing for streaming just mean getting subscribers? I would say when we were talking about it, it was more, how do you get people to show up? But I think obviously subscribers will often get notified, maybe not always, but they're more likely to show up. But how do you actually tell people what's going on so they're in the know and it's at top of mind? Because I think that when we are doing something, if we're hosting something or we've scheduled something and it's planned, we know it and we can feel like, oh, I don't want to keep talking about this thing. However, everyone else is dealing with their own stuff. So it's really easy to forget that something is coming up for another person. And so how do you make sure that it's top of mind? Because there's so many things coming at everyone from all different directions. So how do you get in there?
Also, Andy, one thing that I did some research for today. It's not necessarily stuff that I have been doing, but stuff that I realized, oh, I should do that. And one thing I've found out is it's much better to ask somebody to just like the show that they're watching. If you're doing a live stream, asking for a like versus a subscribe is a much easier get. And also the other benefit too is the more likes you get, the more that's telling YouTube that live or that video is worth their time. So you will start, even if they don't subscribe, you will start to show up in their feed a little bit more. Also, people are a little more resistant to subscribe because they feel like that's more of a commitment. But liking something, way easier. The the border, the threshold is easier to cross. So
Yeah, like those micro steps, right? That someone.
yeah, get baby steps to get them to eventually subscribe. So
like this video, everyone.
yeah, 100%. Let's see those
That's really
likes come
interesting.
in.
And also, I want to see. So Paul from Love Audio Production said pro-ish tip: do a short 30-second video to market the upcoming stream and get it to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. I guess wherever you are. And thank you for just giving it a like. I appreciate that. Yeah. So the 30. So I would actually love, Paul, if you're willing to, Paul Weber, if you're willing to follow up, any ideas around what would you say is a great thing to include in that 30-second clip? Is it to try and get a hook? Are you trying to leave them wanting more? Like, what do you think about when you are creating that tip or that 30-second promo, I should say? I would love to hear a little bit more about that. Do you ever do that, Paul Burke?
Put together like a little intro, like, "Oh, this is what's happening."
Have you ever done that?
I don't. Now, I was quietly sitting here thinking, that's a really smart idea. The other thing I have thought about doing for an embarrassingly long amount of time, but never done it. But then Luria did it today, and I was like, good for you. That's much easier than I think. It's clipping content and then pushing it out, because I realized Facebook stories, Instagram stories, those are really great places to just push out a little bit of content, really quick clips. And then you can say like, hey, swipe up for the link, or, so I think there's so many good ways to pull people in that way.
That now the swipe up is usually if you have 10,000 followers, correct? I've never had the option to ask somebody to swipe up. On Instagram, swipe up is only if you have 10,000.
Well, then I don't have that.
I don't know about Facebook. I've never had that. But I'm kind of so okay. Yeah, go ahead, Paul. Yeah,
I was going to say you can click to see the post. I think that you can do with under 10,000. Yes. I know I've seen people say click or swipe. So if it's not swipe, then click. And I know they have under 10,000. So got it.
So what I was thinking though, so Paul Weber saying, tease them about your next live stream, what it'll be about. I would say maybe combining what you just said about clips is that possibly if time is an issue, or if it feels overwhelming to create a micro clip in advance, starting maybe with a clip of a former show, maybe something fun or a little highlight from a previous show that you could clip it and say, hey, this happened the last time, join us next time, blah, blah, blah. Whether you say it in like a video, record yourself, or, maybe that's one option to get you into that rhythm. What do you think of that?
I like that a lot. And two thoughts. One, there is I'm working on a video because I discovered how to do this. I create tools and then never use them. Smart, very smart. There is within vMix an ability to create a log of your recording. And when you do that log, you can create a button, and I have a button set up on my Stream Deck where if something happens during that recording, and gosh knows, God knows, I don't know why I'm saying gosh. Lives can be 2-3 hours long, and that is a lot of content to sift through. But there's a button that you can just basically say clippable. So you can tag a certain time code. I don't know if there's something in Ecamm, probably, where you can say, but then you don't have to go sift through everything. You simply can hit a button, know that something that just happened was clippable, upload that whole 3 hours, and just zip to those particular places. It's a huge time saver.
Do you have a Stream Deck key set up for that, or you just kind of like
I do.
Clip that?
I do.
Clip it.
I do have
that
a little
is smart. I do not think that Ecamm has that. So I think that is a vMix feature for sure.
So now
Oh
here's
wait,
a great workaround. This is the
yeah.
second part I wanted to share. And I don't know if it was Andy or Paul. I'm not somebody suggested this because I said it would be so helpful to have a mod in a stream just jotting down timestamps when something good happened. Because when you're doing this, you're kind of lost in the moment and you're not always taking care of the future, which is what clipping stuff is. And
Mhm.
somebody had this great idea. It was okay, awesome. It was Andy. Yes. He suggested creating a Google Doc and allowing a certain number of people that you really trust to just be able to click into that Google Doc, write a timestamp, and say, like, this is the thing that happened. And I was like, that's brilliant because, there's a lot of good people in your streams, and a handful of them you're like, oh, I really trust that person. If
Yeah.
they want to just help me out, that'd be huge.
You know what else could do that?
Notion?
Yeah, well, because Notion, you can share pages. And so you could actually on the show. So, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
every time you have a show, you can have a page dedicated to that show. So you can have the link to the show, you can have the
Mm-hmm.
guest to the show, you
Mm-hmm.
can have the thumbnail, everything can be there. You can actually have someone add comments and just have all of those timestamps. So then it's with all of the other stuff. You've got that link, you've got the thumbnail, you've got the description, you've got your guests, and you could have all of your time set stamps for clipping. And multiple people can access it if you trust those people, and you can give them different levels of editing.
Look at that. Notion. What don't you
What
do?
can't you do? Yeah, it's I'm like, this is I would say I am fangirling pretty hard, and maybe in a different way. There's something is resonating with me,
It'd be
and
fun.
I am a cheerleader for Notion.
It would
What's
be
that?
fun if sometime we should do this. We should go to some sort of when there's events that happen again, and it's like we should cosplay as our favorite apps. You should
Ooh,
cosplay as a Notion app, just a giant Notion app, just walking around like some sort of conference, and people are like, "Oh, what are you?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm Notion," because everybody dresses up as
and then they would
superheroes.
be they'd be so happy
Mm-hmm.
because I'm
Mm-hmm.
Notion, and I make their life better.
Yeah, exactly.
What
I'd
app
be
would you be if
vMix,
you had to
and they'd
pick?
just be like, "You're
Um,
confusing as hell," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
that's funny. And by the way, yes, it for people who were here last week, or was it last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about the app idea of people coming on, and we'd have a series of guests on our show. That is happening. We just need to land on a date, and once we have that date picked out, we will share that with our community and say, "Hey, tell us you're going to come on for 5 minutes, do your pitch, tell us about the app. Maybe you can share it." And we will. That is coming. So, ooh, Stream Deck. This is, yeah. No one would go as Facebook. Yeah, Andy, I think you're right. That's funny.
Yeah, love audio. You'd be like, "Hey, somebody, come by and push my buttons." So,
Um, I did want to. Okay, marketing wise,
check out my
something I
multi
wanted.
actions. Yeah, sorry. You can make it sound
Okay,
all so dirty.
yeah,
All
the
right.
Stream Deck cosplay is a great idea. I love
That'd be
it.
really funny. That'd be really silly and funny. Dress as your favorite
um,
app.
all right,
Okay.
M- marketing,
Marketing. Um,
marketing. I so I wanted to share something, and I started to share it with you, and you're like, "Hold on, let's do this. We'll do this on the show so other people can hear your questions." But I something I am trying that is new is a Google Calendar. And so I set up a Google Calendar for my YouTube page. Now, right now, it just has my weekly lives, which I just restarted. So there are only two things on the calendar. But for example, I just did today's live. So now I'll go in and I'll put in next week's live. And then I put the actual link. So as soon as it's scheduled and there is a link for that show, I will go and put it in the description. And then the idea, and on my website, I have a little note saying, subscribe to my calendar so that you don't miss a live show. And so they can actually subscribe to that Google Calendar, meaning it'll add it in theirs. So it'll show up in a different color and they could hide it and unhide it. But that way it's in someone else's calendar with the link directly there. So if they see the topic and they think, yeah, I want to join that, all they have to do is just click on the actual thing in their own Google Calendar and get connected to my channel. So that is something I am trying, and I have no idea if there's any uptake, but I wanted to start out doing that now so that it becomes something that I can promote as a way to be in front of someone's face. You know what I mean? But not in a really obnoxious way, but in a present way.
That's really smart. That is such a smart idea. And it is all about just getting in front of somebody's face and being aware that you're going live. Yeah, did you just come up with that idea, or did you see somebody else doing it and they mentioned it was successful for them, or where did that kind of come from?
So I was inspired by, so I'm subscribed, I have a few things that I'm subscribed to, but one in particular, so Live Streaming Pros, as a member of their paid community, the Streamer Accelerator, they have an option to subscribe to their calendar that has their group calls. And so I see it in my calendar, and I always think, this is so helpful for me able to see the title of the session. And in some cases, not all cases, there's a link. Maybe. Anyhow, so that I think has been really helpful. And then a few other things I've been able to subscribe to. For example, my physiotherapy clinic had an option to enable a Google Calendar add-in so that all of my scheduled appointments can pop in, but using their calendar system. So I just think having that presence in a calendar is a really great tool. But someone did actually mention it in, I think, September. Somebody in a group had suggested doing that calendar, and it kind of always stuck with me, but I never actually took action on it until a few weeks ago.
That's a smart idea. Also, I don't know if you saw Andy's comment. This is another reason what you're doing is so great. If you change the schedule, it will auto adjust for them as well.
Yeah.
Because that is so hard when you change a workshop or a live, and yeah, then people don't know, and you're like, well, I hope they show up, and super smart.
So what I think I might have to, or not have to, what it might be helpful is to perhaps record, whether it's on Instagram stories or on Facebook or something like that, to just show people, hey, let's click on this link. It'll show you this calendar. So you could always visit that calendar page, but if you subscribe, it'll show up here and then actually see the example. So then people, because I think sometimes you can explain it and they're like, yeah. But when you actually show how simple it is, that could help, like you said, those steps, like versus subscribe. How do you take that next step? And sometimes seeing it laid out for you is a really good example. So maybe that's something that I can do.
You know, if you want help, here's an idea. And you didn't ask for it, but I'm going to throw it out. You should film it, because I want to start doing these too. Like instructional videos, like the old, like 1950s America. Like, hey, Billy, you in trouble? Well, here's how you do it. And it's just kind of a black and white picture of somebody like trying to work the internet. And they're like, hey, son, you looking for a good time? Go show. I don't know why it's Irish.
I like that a lot.
It's super adorable.
I don't know if I could pull it off without bursting into laughter every single time. But I do love that idea. I think that is great.
Well, if you want me to do some VO work for you, I'm happy to do that.
Maybe I'll take you up on that, and then you can show how you've added it to your calendar.
Hey, Sally, you feel lost? Looking for some time on live streams, but don't know when they're occurring? Be sure to download it. Google Calendar. How to use step 1. Get a computer. Yeah, happy to help.
I'm just picturing coming home after the work day and there's fresh baked bread and all this, like,
exactly. You know exactly what it looks like. That's exactly. And it could be like, you could have like a little graphic that says, brought to you by the Department of Cat Mulvihill. So
that's awesome. Is there anything that you are trying out or testing when it comes to letting people know what you're doing and when you're doing it?
Yes. So this isn't like revolutionary, but this week really made me super aware of it. So every week on Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30, I do an improv drop-in class. Usually get about like 14 people who register, and that averages to about 5 to 8 people who actually show up.
Okay.
This week, I went in today and I was like, oh, cool, it's Wednesday. Shoot, I didn't promote it on Facebook, and I didn't email everybody on my newsletter because I have a couple thousand on my newsletter. Didn't do that. Well, people must know that it's going to happen again, so they'll probably click and sign up again. I got one person, and tonight's the class. So I'm going to have to cancel because you can't really do it with that. And honestly, I'm not upset about it because I was like, that's a good, clear learning moment full of data where simply letting people know the thing is happening again is not an annoyance. Like, I am always worried I'm going to annoy somebody. I'm going to post too much. I'm going to email too much. No, the people who want to know, but there's so many distractions. There's like so many directions. People's brains are being pulled. And they want to show up. They want to go do improv. I'm assuming they want to. But
well, I think the other thing too is, as you say, people who want to be reminded of it. Mm-hmm. But also I think there are people probably on your list who are like, not this week, but I do want to know if it's coming up. And maybe there was someone thinking, hey, I wonder if he's doing one this week, and then they didn't hear from you, so they're like, oh, I guess not. Mm-hmm. So it's that, that assurance of this is happening. And I think you're right. When the person who's looking for that information, if you are sending out that signal, they want to hear that news. And it's probably not going to turn someone off if they're on your mailing list, it's usually for a reason. So if you happen to tell them about a drop-in and they're annoyed, well, then they can always unsubscribe.
Yeah, exactly. Like what Paul says, you got to signpost it. And yeah, it's just, I mean, it's no sort of like revelation, but just let people know, share and ask. Like, for instance, we asked people to like our stream. We got 2 immediately right after that saying, hey, just take a second, like our stream if this brings you value. We literally got 2 people to do that. I think people have so much going on. They want to participate. They want to be a part of it. But sometimes they just get distracted. Oh, that's one thing I've been doing recently, which I'm excited about growing because I didn't know much about it, but now I'm using it more and it's pretty great, is Discord. And I think it could really serve you too, if
Tell
you're
me
interested.
more about it. I think I asked you last week, but
so
I feel like I'm still not getting it. Maybe you need to do a 50s era video on Discord. Actually, you should do that because I think it would be funny and relevant, and you use it and it might help me understand it and make me laugh. Just saying.
Hey there, Kat. Tired of not being able to reach people you're looking to talk to? Tired of not having access to Clubhouse because you're on a Android phone? Well, there's an option for you. Discord. Yeah, so sorry. I hope that voice isn't too annoying. So Discord is, how do I explain it? Like Facebook groups, how you kind of like let into the group and then you can talk to people. It is like that, but it's not in the Facebook ecosystem. It's a whole other app called Discord, and you have a name on there and you can connect with other people. You can friend people individually, but people can create their own groups. So I have a group just for people interested in hanging out with other people who like my live streams. So you could do this for channels. You could do this for topics. There are tons of different channels and topics out there as well. Also, Discord, a place where you don't want to be too aggressive promoting your own stuff, but a really good opportunity to be like, oh, you're interested in this topic? I just so happen to have a video on it over here. So you could let people know. You can connect over video. You can connect through text, or you connect just through audio, which is a really
Okay.
cool feature. So like you could theoretically do a live stream where you're letting in guests that you met on Discord, and their audio could come through and you could have a conversation with them, or you could bring up their video as well. So it really kind of, it's very adaptable to what you want. And you can have, say for instance, I have a room that is just all about, let's say for instance, what do I want to talk about? Let's say you have a topic on football. You're like, hey, come, you can hang out here. This is the main room that I've created for football. Oh, you're interested in the San Francisco 49ers? Cool. We have a sub room over here. You're
Okay.
still here. You're still in my Discord house, but just go hang out in this little room where you can talk about, oh, the Bears and here's 49ers. So it's like you basically get to build a house. And Discord doesn't bother you. They don't charge you. You can pay money for extra services. But it's a cool way of staying in contact with the people and being more top of mind. So they become more fans. And
So
just
do you use Discord to give a shout out of, hey, I'm going live, like to the people in that group? Do
Mhm.
you give them a heads up using that as a way to just signal, have that signpost?
I do, because I am hot garbage at planning out my streams beforehand. If I
You're a bit
plan,
more spontaneous sometimes.
yeah, that's a good way of saying it. Hot garbage, spontaneous, synonymous terms. Yeah, I am like, if I plan 12 hours in advance, that's a huge accomplishment for me. That is one thing I am learning, that I need to be regular. If I'm not regular showing up at chosen times, then people can't rely on me. And I'm realizing that's a big problem because people want to come hang out, but they don't know when I'm going. So then when they find
Yeah.
out I was live, they're like, well, shoot, I missed it. I can't be a part of the conversation or what happened today. So
Yeah.
I think I'm losing people because of
I
my
think
impromptuness.
so. I think what you're saying. So it's funny because when we have this marketing conversation around, you have this realization that there are people who are disappointed because they're like, oh, he did go live. And I know I've had
Mhm.
that before where I was like, I think Paul's going live today, and I go and check it out and you're not. And then I find out it was already happened or it's later or something like that. The next day, there's that kind of like, oh, okay. But when we're on the marketing side, we feel like we're just going to annoy the crap out of everyone sometimes,
Yes.
not everyone. But I think you and I both struggle with that. I think probably some of you who are with us today also struggle with that problem where you don't want to irritate people, but when you don't tell them, then you're actually taking away the opportunity if they're looking for it. And yeah, not everyone's looking to come and spend time with you, but for the people who would be interested, it's actually a disservice to them. So I think trying to remind yourself that by not saying anything because you're trying not to annoy them,
Hmm.
you're actually just disappointing. I'm
Let
not mad,
me
I'm just disappointed.
let me I'm gonna use a move right now that you taught me. Like I have learned this from you. Hey, do you worry about bothering people in your marketing? Let me know in the chat. Be sure to say yes. Let me know in the chat. Say yes if you too are worried about bothering people in the chat. You do that so well. That is one thing I'm working on doing too.
I thank you. Although I haven't done it as much today, or maybe I have. If you annoy them, they are not your herd. Yeah, that's a really good point. Absolutely not bothered about bothering people. Okay, so we have some that I wish I had more of that. So if I could be candid, which is what we try to do on this show, is to be really transparent.
Hmm.
One of my challenges is that I am a multi-passionate individual and I do different things and I confuse people. And I know I do because I've had people say, it's really hard for me to keep track of, I'm not actually sure what you're doing, which is not good.
Do
Um,
people say that to you?
yeah.
Oh wow.
Well, even Phil once said, he's like, it's sometimes hard to know what to, like, I don't fully know what you're focused on because my focus has changed. And to be fair, I recently just completely pivoted. And so to actually know what is Kat actually doing right now is not always consistent, and so sometimes it's confusing. And so I am trying to think about the user experience on the other side. Is it clear? Right now, I don't think it's clear enough. I am trying to get more clear and more focused.
Hmm.
But I think what happens is because of my fear that I'm going to confuse someone, then I step back. For example, I had a new video that went live on Monday. And then yesterday I posted about a live stream for today. And then I have this live stream today. And then tomorrow I have my ditching diets and die. I have this fear that if I tell everybody about every single thing that I'm doing, they're just going to say no and tune me right out. So that is
Hmm.
something, if anyone has feedback on that, please let me know, because that's one of the reasons that I don't necessarily every week talk about the Are We Live Now is I feel like I'm bombarding people and I haven't figured out the pattern. Now, yesterday, so I made, because I've changed my content on my channel, so it was formerly My Happy Insides, now it's Cat Mull the Hill, and the content I'm talking about is how to up level your, workshops that you're doing online. So how do you
Hmm.
add graphics and how do you make it more engaging? So that content I created last week, like a download. And it was step by step, how do you set up a virtual camera in Zoom? And this is targeted towards people who aren't live streamers. It's targeted to people who are hosting Zoom meetings and don't know how to add this in. And I had, a handful of people who all signed up for it last week, which was great. This week, yesterday, I sit down thinking, okay, every Tuesday, I'm going to message them if there's a new recorded video and then remind them that on Wednesday I'm going live about a certain topic. And I almost didn't send it yesterday. So I started to
Really?
tell myself, well, it's a small list and maybe I'm annoying. And then I said, no, stop. These people downloaded this because they're interested in upping their game. The whole reason that they signed up for this is because they care about the quality of their presentations. And I actually said that in the email. Like, if you're getting this and guessing this is important to you, here's what I've posted this week, and I'm going live tomorrow. If you want to be reminded, I have this calendar, and just get over myself. So I'm proud that I walked myself back from not doing it, but it's I don't know, it's a balancing act and it's hard. So I have not figured it all out at all, even close yet, but I'm
I
getting
think
there.
it's interesting. So I think it's one thing to get over the imposter syndrome, like to feel like, nope, the thing I have to share is worth teaching and worth getting out there. But then there's so many syndromes. There's also the promotion syndrome. I'm promoting too much. Like, it's interesting, like all these like little hurdles we set up in our mind where it's like, I'm not I'm not good enough to teach this. I'm gonna promote this too much. I'm gonna bother people. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I
I
don't
see a
know.
very kind, oh, you replied to it. That's very kind of you, Andy, to say you're both so good at this, not to promote yourself. Thank you.
Yeah, that is very nice. That is
And
super nice,
something
Andy.
else that this conversation has reminded me of, I saw yesterday somebody was explaining, attention is a zero sum game. You cannot actually pay attention to two things at once.
Mm,
You can tell yourself you're multitasking, but you're actually
hmm.
switch tasking. And that you, all of us, get the choice of where do we spend our attention, where do we focus our time. And so I think your job as a marketer is to let people know their options and they can choose how they're going to spend their time. But if they don't even know it's an option, then they definitely won't be choosing it. But at least tell them and then they get the choice. Obviously, you want to make it more attractive. So they'll say, oh, I do want to spend my time with you. But you're going to land with the people who are looking for that and want to spend that time.
Yeah, you're giving them the option. You're not saying watch my channel, I'm gonna cut your internet. You're saying, hey, here's something that I think is worth your time. This is what I'm gonna teach you, and I hope it helps. That's a really great thing. That's a really awesome gift. But I think sometimes we don't realize it is that. So Ken Robinson, sales and marketing coach.
Hi, Ken.
What do you do, Ken? It's like sales. It's a numbers game. No matter how good it is, some will like it and some won't. Just keep promoting, and eventually your audience will grow. It's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like the marbles, right? The 100 no's or 100 mistakes that along the way, you're going to get some right. And I definitely stole that whole thing from a salesperson.
Marbles. Got it. I thought you said Marvels. And I was like, are you about to talk about Thor and Iron Man and Ant-Man? You're like, it's like the 100 Marvel characters. Miles Morales, Spider-Man. I was like, wow, I'm really impressed here, Kat. Where are you going with this sentence?
So many Marvel characters. They're not for everyone. No. That's not what I said.
It's like Rocket Raccoon.
Marbles. Yeah. I said marbles too.
Marbles.
But the marble idea, which could also be used, the paperclip idea, etc., is from that idea that for every call I make, I just keep moving it over. I might get a whole bunch of no's, but on my way, I will get some yeses as well. So, marble.
So I made a list.
Marble, though. Yes, Paul.
You're more of a DC girl. Let's be honest.
Oh no.
Oh no? Okay, no. I take it back. So I was writing some stuff about marketing yesterday. And I'll get to that one in a second. But the first one, I was just writing down about the imposter syndrome, because I think a lot of us here in this chat probably deal with that a little bit. But I think it's important for your content and your lives, and I'm trying to figure out this too. Like, what is the thing? Like, what value do you bring to people? And when you know, like, what value you bring and, like, how you help somebody, like, it's so much easier if you just think, how am I helping somebody? Whether it's just making them laugh, or I'm teaching them how to make better Zoom, presentations. Like, what am I helping them be better at? And then figure out, where are those people? Like, people who want that thing, where are they at? What would they be on? Where would they be at? And this is also going to the point that if you are trying to market your lives, you might really want to look at Reddit, which I don't think a lot of people think of as a marketing tool, but there are so many different Reddits. And some of them are all about funny videos and memes and stuff like that. But a lot of them are like, I really love this one thing. And maybe I have a question about it. And maybe that's the thing that you can help people on. So when you say, oh, hey, this is the video that I think will answer your question, and you post it and it gets like upvoted, that's great exposure for you. And it could be a really great way of being seen. For instance, there's this person on YouTube called Dream, and he does tons of Minecraft videos. I also have a funny story about Minecraft, which I'll share in a second. He creates all these Minecraft videos, and one way that he's really grown very, very fast, incredibly fast, is sharing through Reddit channels and saying, hey, this is a thing I think you might like. This is a thing that kind of addresses the topic you're bringing up. So while it is promotional, it is driven from the desire to help somebody. So,
well, I think I like what you're saying around Reddit, the examples you gave, because I think there is a distaste for spammy promotional people on Reddit, but your examples where this is a video that solves your problem, which is different, because a lot of people are going on Reddit because they're saying, I don't know how to do this thing, or I can't figure this out and I need help. And sometimes people will type in their answers, because I end up on Reddit because usually I've got a very specific question, and the only place I seem to find someone else asking that is on Reddit. And occasionally I'll find a link to a video and I'll go check that out, because I am also trying to solve that problem. And if somebody says or they'll say, I followed the steps in this video, So I think obviously it's better if someone else is putting your stuff on there with the solving problems.
Totally.
But if you're solving a problem, it's different than like, oh, hey, check out my page. Hey, come like my page. There's a different vibe to it, which I think is a really important distinction, because
Hmm.
I don't like getting spammed by someone to just say, hey, go watch my stuff. But if they say, hey, you have a question about this and I created this video that will solve your problem, well, then that's a really different, um, just a different vibe.
Or you can even take it next level and provide a little bit of text that answers the problem and then give the option for video as well. Then having that freedom and option, I know I'm more apt to click on that link because I'm
Yeah.
like, cool, you gave me that choice. I appreciate it. I'm grateful. It's not just self-promotional. So,
Well, and when you talk about writing a little bit, that's actually reminding me that I have a roadblock right now, which is that I do, because my content is a little bit more problem solving right now and teaching people specific skills, I do want to have a blog post where I have a little bit of written content and then a link to the video. And I haven't done it. I think about it. I think this is what I need, and also it will help for search engine optimization and whatnot for people to find that content. But I haven't done it, and I think part of it is I'm overthinking it. I'm getting in my
mm,
head about the quality of it and how much it has to be researched, etc. However, I do think, because even as a user, sometimes I actually would rather scan a blog post first before I commit to, say, watching 6 or 7 minutes on a video. I want to be able to say, is this actually the answer I'm looking for? Because
mhm.
sometimes you end up watching something and wish you hadn't. And so I do think those blog posts, I personally often, if I'm trying to find an answer, if I can read the answer first, that's my preference before I watch a video. So that's one area where I think that's part of the marketing, to
Mhm.
have a blog post that's got that written part. And then if they read that and think, oh, this is helpful, maybe I should watch this. And then that brings them over to spend more time with you.
That's really smart. Um, my brain is all over the place right now. So I wanted to, I'm thinking about the videos. So the thing I wanted to mention about Minecraft, and I think this is a thing that happened last night. I was like, oh, that's very interesting. Um, I was going live and had about 10, it was averaging between 9 and 12. Not huge, not a huge attendance, but it was good. I was happy. And it was a great group of people. And then I started playing Minecraft, and I'm not good at Minecraft. And somebody was teaching me how to play, and that was what I was streaming. Learning how to play this game that I'm not good at. And my
Okay.
views plummeted down to like 2. Down to 2 and then 3. And then I was like, this is so interesting. I mean, just like a cliff. Like if you looked at the analytics, like you were like, oh, that's Mount Everest. That is not. Um and I was like, what a cool piece of data to have. And this kind of goes back to clipping, and this I think also goes to pushing out content, whether you're like pushing it to Reddit or making blog posts. Look at where people are watching you and where they're leaving you. And that
Yeah.
that helps you. Like, get out of your own way. Don't make the decisions on what's good and bad. The eyeballs want to tell you what is good and bad.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's humbling because you're like, oh, I like playing Minecraft. This was personally fun for me. But people are like, I do not want to watch this. I don't want to watch you learn how to play a game very badly. You are bad. um, so it's a really great kind of learning point and being like, oh, okay, that could help me with clipping. That could help me with future content. That could help me with what I should share out into the world. So just wanted to
Well,
share
I
that
heard a
too.
great insight today from a YouTuber. So you are aware, I've been spending a little bit of time on Clubhouse, although when I need to get work done, I keep my phone in a different room, so that it's not even an option. But occasionally, I will sit in on a room and listen to some people. And so I was listening to some YouTubers today, and one of them said she's had explosive growth and has over 50,000 subscribers in a year and a half. And she said, I try to think like a user. And every time I create content, I think like a user. Like, how do I
Mm,
use YouTube, what am I looking for? What content am I trying to find? And then create that. And I think that's really helpful because sometimes when we're on the creation side, we forget to do that. And I think that's part of the reason that I've had the growth that I've seen on my Ditching Diets and Die channel is that the whole idea for that channel came up through my lived experience watching those videos, looking for those videos, kind of searching, having them pop up in the search, knowing which ones I'm drawn to and what I was actually looking for at that time when I was trying to make a decision, what mattered to me. And I'm trying to make that content. And so, but I think I can tell when I start to just, oh, this is an idea and I'm not thinking like a user. So maybe with that Minecraft example, where you're just kind of learning live, you could think like a user and be like, do I want to watch somebody learn how to play a game that they suck at? There might be certain situations where you do, where maybe it's comical or something, there's some element to it, but then there's other points where it's like, actually, I probably wouldn't watch that. Now, I don't know if you would or not, but that's a way that, yes, we're getting feedback from our audience, but also I think if we remind ourselves to step into what would I watch, then that might also help.
So a couple things. I just want to get to some. So this ties in. So I bring entertainment. That's what Andy's saying. And yes, last night, not entertaining. As me stepping out and looking at it, Kat, it was not entertaining. I don't think so. I mean, it was fun for me, but not entertaining. And Kat brings knowledge bombs. You're dropping bombs. Kat, bringing so much wisdom. Just constant mic drops. Oh, the amount of mics you've gone through and ruined.
So this is dropping bombs. This is a mic drop.
Well, if it's a little lavalier,
let's be clear.
If it's a little lavalier, then that could be
2 little lav mics. That's a real big mic drop. Bloop.
There's probably somebody somewhere who's trying to look like a badass who's like, ugh, duh. That'd be a hilarious little mic drop. Oh, CK is done cleaning her. She's done cleaning her gym. So we have her undivided attention. What is the koala super deep borehole? What is that?
Cola?
The cola.
Where is
That's right.
That
doesn't have an interesting. A. Doesn't have an A, so it's not koala. It's cola. It sounds deep.
And CK also said, me as a YouTube user watching someone learn how to play Minecraft. Paul Berg's channel, only result.
Well, it's a niche. I've really niched down.
And hello, Stuart. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's going on, Stu? Oh, I'm popping in. So Ken Robinson, sales and marketing coach, did mention he promotes his webinars to real estate agents using Facebook ads. I can reach 8,000 agents in for under $200. Ken, what's your conversion? I'm wondering what the conversion is on 8,000 agents. Kind of curious. That's really just kind of
what part of the conversion? Because aren't there a few things that, like, there's the cost per lead, which you can figure out with those numbers. But are you saying once they actually see it, how many convert to actual clients?
Yeah, just how many. I would be curious how many actually watch the webinars.
Mm-hmm.
His view time. I don't know. Facebook, like, I don't know, the marketing, I've gotten less and less and less traction with that when I used to promote the theater. It just never really converted that well. But then again, it might have just been my content was the issue. My ads didn't hit. I don't know. Ken, you might make the best ads in the world.
I had a promotion last year for, it was, I put together a guide for New Year's resolutions and the reason that they don't stick and how you actually keep a resolution. As you know, I used to teach content on like why we get stuck. And so why do people's resolutions fail 3 weeks in? And I did have some pretty good success with that. But other times when I've done ad campaigns, it seems arbitrary. I'm sure it's not, but man, the Facebook ads game is just Ugh. I hate it.
Me too. So usually 30. So 7 agents spend 199. Ken, for $200, you're printing money, my man. Keep it going. You should offer sales and marketing coaching because you good. I don't know.
I believe he does teach other people,
What?
right, Ken?
How do you know that?
Because I talked to Ken. I know Ken.
Wait, which Ken is this?
So, okay, the marketing. Okay, we
Marketing.
are close to the end of the hour. Are there any sort of final thoughts that you have as you Google Ken? I'm pretty sure.
I am.
Oh,
Oh!
hey, we have an answer from CK.
I know that, Ken.
One of the deepest hole man-made in the world, 7.5 miles deep in Russia.
Whoa.
Why do you? No,
Why?
you know what? I'm not going to go. Not going to go down that rabbit hole.
It's a big rabbit.
I was just wondering why, but then I actually don't know that I care why they built such a deep hole.
That sounds bomb related. That you dig a hole that deep. That sounds
Is that
like
what
a
you're
bomb.
saying? Not for like mining or excavation or I don't know. See,
Is it
now
Putin?
now
Maybe
we've
it's Putin
wandered.
who's like, I really want to be alone with my thoughts. Completely removed from everybody.
Put me in the hole. Okay, we've got 5 minutes. Are there any final thoughts that you have when it comes to marketing with live streams or anything that you've learned or that you're working on that you want to share?
This is so simple, and I'm embarrassed I have not done this. And I read this and I was like, I got to share that. Putting on your Facebook banner when you go live. So easy.
Facebook. Yeah.
So simple. Or on the YouTube.
Well, we do that.
On the YouTube. Yeah. We do.
It's on our channel.
It is. So you were smart enough to do that. I did not make that graphic. You are smart. That's what I wanted to highlight, Kat. You are very smart. And boy, I should do more of that sort of stuff.
But that's a very passive marketing approach, which does not bring the bums to the seats. So it helps. It helps, I think, to share and people know as soon as they land on your page when your show is. However, it doesn't go out and get their attention. So
No.
It's just one piece.
Yeah, we got to do something that brings the bums to the seats.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we want your bums here.
Got to need those bum seats filled. You don't hear bum used enough in that context. Because you said
Actually,
you got to bring the bums to the seats.
You don't hear bums very much. Oh, like a bottom versus like the other derogatory, like a bum.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean it. That's what I meant. I didn't mean it as derogatory. Yeah. I meant as you don't hear bum as because that's what I thought you were saying. We're bringing the bums to the seats. Isn't that what you meant?
I mean your butt. Get your butt in the chair.
Yeah, get your butt in the chair. Hi, Jax. We're talking about butts and synonyms. It's about marketing today. It's all about marketing.
Were you picturing a butt, or were you picturing when someone says, "Oh, that guy's a bum"? We need to bring the bums.
Yeah, no. When people say, "Oh, that guy's a bum," I don't think they're saying, "Oh, that guy's such a butt." I think, but when you're saying we got to put the bums in the seats, I'm like, "Oh, that's a cute way of saying getting butts in seats."
Yes, okay.
Not like that row is filled with a bunch of bums.
I am totally losing my composure here.
Good, that's my goal. I'm not gonna lie, Kat. Every time we hang out, I'm like, cool. If you're losing composure during the stream, it's a win.
Okay, wait. I do want to circle back before we wrap up. That the swipe up. So we asked that question earlier. Yes, usually you do need a lot of followers, but you can also become a verified Instagram business user. Something that I will say I've tried a few times. If you create an IGTV video, you can have a description. And so you can put a link to a video or promote a link that way, and it doesn't matter how many followers you have. So what I've done a few times is if I've got content up, I might record, say, a 1-minute clip or take a clip from that content and then say, see the full video, and actually put it in the description of the IGTV. So that is an option. It's just that I wasn't consistent with it because I think I take on too much. And then I'm like, oh, I'll do all the things. And then they start to fall. And that is one of the things that has fallen.
Well, you know what hasn't fallen, Kat? Your follow through. Look at that. Because Kat has better follow through. Shots fired, Ken. A lot of us have great ideas, but never implement because we want everything to be perfect. Kat goes ahead whether it is perfect or not.
So I will say that I do like to just try things, put things out there. My problem is that I have shiny object syndrome, where then I'm like, ooh, let's try this. And I don't follow through on so an example where I struggle with follow through is committing to making a blog post for the content that I've created. It's on my list, but I just I'm like, well, maybe I'll film the next video or do the next thing. That's my problem, because I get very easily distracted, or I kind of spend a lot of time in the future anticipating the next thing and then getting bored with old routine and patterns and all of that. So that's my challenge that I have to work on.
Yeah, I get it. No, I have that too. I have I have a desire to pivot too quickly, to ditch stuff. And it's like, if it doesn't work the first or second time, I'm like, how could it possibly work the third time? And then I'll abandon it and ditch it. Like, we're 17 episodes in. Yeah, thank you, Mario. 17 episodes. I'll be honest. I usually give up before things like this. So.
I will say that when it comes to YouTube, that is one thing I've heard over and over and over, is that it's a long game and it's a marathon, and a lot of people give up really early and they never had a chance. And same with, I think you've heard this too around podcasting, is that a ton of people start podcasts and they never make it more than 12 weeks, or they just abandon it within the first year. But it actually takes usually, and in those small cases, there'll be a viral success, but a lot of them take more than a year, a couple of years to actually gain that listener base.
Yeah, mine did. I don't have a podcast yet, but I will.
Don't you have a podcast?
Well, I did for a while, but then I gave it up. I'm just a statistic. Kat, I'm just.
That was not a dig at you, by the way. I thought you were still doing your podcast.
I have ideas. Kat, isn't that worth anything? Turns out it's not. Everybody's got ideas. Like Ken says, Kat has follow through, not me. Ken, you know me too well. I don't.
All right. Any last thoughts before we wrap up for our 17th episode?
I don't. Jax, I think creating a checklist is super helpful. That's a great idea. CK says we need an overlay with cats falling from the ceiling. I don't know why.
It's just raining cats. Not dogs, just cats.
Got it. Hallelujah. It's raining cats.
I don't know if that's why she said that, but yeah.
I don't know. But now I got that song, It's Raining Men, stuck in my head. So thanks for that, CK. I don't have anything else. This is fun. Any plans for the future week? Anything going on this week?
So I am planning to create a little video of why I love Notion so much and why I'm such a fangirl. And it's sort of like a bonus episode. It's not going to be on my regularly scheduled new schedule, but it is something I've been wanting to do, and I'm so nerdily excited about it that I want to put it together. And my intention is to kind of release that as a bonus thing on Saturday. And I'm pretty excited about it.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Yeah. How about you?
I want to put out I want to shoot and put out a video on a vMix problem that people have been having. So I want to do more of that, kind of the just, hey, here's actionable steps if you're trying to deal with this issue. And then I have this sketch idea, which I think I told you about, and I just haven't filmed it because I just keep doubting it, even though I know it's a fun idea. I just haven't done it yet. So those two things, that's what I want to do. So it looks like both us, two live streamers, doing a show on live streaming. The things we're most looking forward to in the next week are videos we're making.
Hey, you can't just be one thing all the time. Well, I guess you could.
We're so
And maybe those
we're
people are more
multifaceted.
successful. I don't know. Multi-passionate, yes.
Yeah.
And so first of all, Stuart saying skits, please, which I believe your video is kind of that back and forth that you explained last week. Mm-hmm. So my challenge to the audience, the people who are with us, next week, come back and make sure that Paul has recorded that video. Hold him accountable.
Yeah, and guys, hold Kat accountable. It's double accountability day.
Yeah,
so
you can.
Hold me accountable.
If there's no video on Notion, then, and also you can watch it. Well, if I haven't made it, then you can come and just like shake your fist at me. But if you did watch it, then maybe you'll know why I just cannot stop fangirling over it.
So yeah, go watch Kat fangirl and then watch me be real silly. This is awesome. I love this. Yeah. Highlight of my week doing these shows.
Awesome. Me too.
Real quick.
Thanks everyone for hanging out with us. This is a great group of people. Some wonderful engagement and chats going on. So it was lovely to spend this time with you.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. All right. See you guys later. Have a good week. Bye.